Hello students, you have your Unit 2 test review to work on. I am going to be working half the problems, except for one. There's a card sort problem that you'll be working on your own. Otherwise, I'm going to be working half the problems. The problems are sort of done in pairs, so problems 1 and 2 are going to be the same. 3 and 4 are the same type of problem, not the same problem, but the same type of problem. So I'm going to be working one of each of those, and then you will have the other problem that's of the same type to work on your own. This way, if you get stuck on a problem, then you can come and watch the video that goes with one of those problems of that type, and hopefully it will help you work the other one. So let's get started. So this is just some, these are the objectives here, and also your key vocabulary that was with this unit. All right, so here we have problem 1, and problems 1 and 2 are similar. They're both simplifying expressions. I'm going to work problem 1, and then you will be working problem 2 on your own. They are multiple choice, so you would be choosing one of the answer choices as your choice. So it's to simplify the expression, use the sketch tool if it helps. So we have to get rid of the parentheses first. That's what we always do in expressions or equations. So let's multiply the -4 through in the parentheses. -4 times 10u, that's going to be -40u. And then -4 times -3 is +12. And then we're going to bring down the +7u. Now we need to look for like terms, and I don't have my highlighter. But what I can do is I can circle like terms or underline like terms. I have two terms that both have the variable u with them, -40 and 7. So -40u and 7u can be combined. -40 plus 7 is -33. Don't want to forget about the variable there. And then the positive 12 or the +12 just comes down to the next line. So this is simplified, and I need to find my correct answer. And my correct answer is going to be the -33u plus 12, so that one. All right, and then you have this one to work on your own. Number 3 and 4 are the same type of problem. They are equations, and they do have distributive property in them. I am going to grab my page marker because I don't have a sketch it on this one. You can use paper to work out these problems. So let's see. I'm going to use my page marker down here, and I'm going to go ahead and do the distributive property. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 2 is +8 equals 40. Now we have a two-step equation. We have an 8 right here that I need to get rid of. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. Bring down the 4x. These cancel. 40 minus 8 is 32. And then I need to divide on both sides by 4. X equals 8. Okay, so on this one, you can either type in just an 8 here, or you can type in x equals 8. It will count it right either way. So if you type in an 8 and then type submit, it will count it correct. All right, and then number 6 was one that's very similar to one we just did. The x is on the other side, but that doesn't really matter. So you're going to solve this one on your own. Okay, numbers 7 and 8 are equations with variables on both sides. And so I will solve number 7 with you, and then you will solve number 8 on your own. And this one does have the sketch tool. I'm just going to use my page marker here. Okay, so what I have here is I have variables on both sides. So I have a -6x on the left, -4x on the right. I need to get this -4x over to the left, but I have to add 4x to both sides to do that. So I'm going to add 4x to the -4x, and I'm going to add 4x to the -6x. So let's do that part first. That's going to be -2x there. Bring down that +6 equals, and then this cancels, and then my -2 comes down. So now I need to move the +6. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Bring down the -2x. These cancel. -2 and -6 is -8. now I need to just divide on both sides by -2. X equals -8 divided by -2 is +4. So I'm going to choose the +4 answer. So this one's a multiple choice. And X equals 4. So number 8 is similar to this one. So you can solve this one on your own. Numbers 9 and 10, very similar. They ask what is the first correct step in solving the equation, and then what would the next line look like. This is not a sketch it, but you can use paper, or you might be able to do this in your head. So let's see, I'm going to use my page marker and do my distributive property here, because the first step is distributive property. I need to get rid of the parentheses. -4 times -6 is 24x. And -4 times 1 is -4. Bring down the -8 and the equals 12. So now we just need to find the line that matches this. 24x right here, -4 -8 equals 12. So it's going to be this one. It's going to be the correct answer. And so that was number 7. Number 8, you will work on your own. Okay, number 9 says solve this equation, and it does give us a sketch it over here that we can use if we need. So I'm going to use that over here. Okay, I'm just going to rewrite it. So I have distributive property first, and then I will have variables on both sides, so I need to keep that in mind as well. 2 times x, 2x, 2 times 5 plus 10 equals 3x plus 1. I need to move the 3x, and I need to move the plus 10. So I'm going to do all of these in one step. I'm going to add 3x on both sides. I'm sorry, subtract 3x on both sides. That's a subtract 3x here. I'm also going to subtract 10. I'll change colors there so we can see that. I'm going to subtract 10 on both sides. You can do all of this in one step if you like. The things that cancel out are the +10, -10, the 3x, -3x, and then just combine here. 2x minus 3x is -1x. 1 minus 10 is -9. And I just divide by -1 here. And x equals 9. Again, you can enter just a 9 here, or you can enter x equals 9. Either way, it will count it correct. Okay, and then the next problem, very similar to the one we just did. You'll just solve that one on your own. Numbers 11 and 12 are very similar. We're going to work number 11 together. So let me grab a highlighter here so I can highlight some stuff as I go. A group of friends wants to go to the amusement park. They have $246.75 to spend on parking and admission. Parking is $14. Admission tickets are $33.25 per person, including tax. Write and solve an equation which can be determined to use to determine X, the number of people who can go to the amusement park. So I have two multiple choices here. The first one's here, and the second one's on the next line. It says choose the correct equation and then choose the solution. So we're going to go ahead and solve this together. Let's do a tape diagram. So my parking is the first thing I'll put on the tape diagram. Parking is $14, and that is a one-time cost. So I'm going to put parking here. I don't know how many people can go. That's what they're asking, how many people can go. So my $33.25 I don't know how many there are. So I'm going to go ahead and put a ... right here like we do sometimes. And then the total cost was this $246.75. So I know that the $33.25 is the times X. $33.25 times X, and then the 14 was a one-time cost, equals the $246.75. Now, It's not written exactly the same way, but it's going to be this one right here. This one has the 14 times x. We need to look for the 3325 times x. So it's going to be that one is going to be the correct equation, this one right here. And then if we solve this, we subtract 14 from both sides and then divide by 3325, you would find that you get x equals 7. So 7 people could go. So this one is very similar to number 12, and you're going to solve that one by yourself. So you'll pick the correct equation here, and you'll pick the amount for each of these juice bottles on the bottom row there. Okay, number 15, or excuse me, number 13. This is slide 15, but it's problem number 13. 13 and 14 are similar. This is where we chose the no solution, one solution, or infinitely many solutions. And just by way of review on this, if you have a problem, say like when we go ahead and do this distributive property, if you have a problem where the variables match up, then you know you're going to either have no solution or infinite solutions. Then you need to look at the constant term. Let's go ahead and do the distributive property here and look and see what we have. So negative 3 times 5x is negative 15x. Negative 3 times 1 is minus 3. Okay, so on both sides we have exactly the same thing. It says solve the equation for x. You don't necessarily have to solve it. All you need to do is look at the two parts. Let's look at the variable. The variables are the same, which means they would cancel each other out in an equation if you solve the equation. So we'll mark through those. We also have constant terms that are the same. And so negative 3, if I canceled out the negative 15x's, I would end up with negative 3 equals negative 3. And you remember I told you, look at that and say to yourself, this is always true. So if it's always true, that means it could be any solution. And so we would choose infinitely many solutions because it wouldn't matter what number I put in for x. They would all work because negative 3 always equals negative 3. So that would be infinitely many solutions. Now I want you to look at this problem here and see if you can determine whether it's one solution, infinitely many, or no. Just again, if you have the same variable, so let's say you have 2x plus 4 equals 2x minus 6. This would be no solution. These cancel and 4 never equals negative 6. Okay, if you had the same variable, 2x plus 3 equals 2x plus 3, same variable again, but the constants are the same. This is infinite solutions. And then if you end up with different variables, like something like this, even though the 5's are the same, it doesn't matter. You've got two different variables. If the variables are different, this is one solution, okay? So this one was no solution, this one was infinite, and this one was 1. So you want to look at those variables first. Okay, so that one you're going to work on your own, and also this card sort you will work on your own as well. And it's just one equation per card. So you're going to have one that goes with this one that goes with this one that goes with this one. Okay, this says which number line, we're going into inequalities now. Which number line shows all the values of x that make an inequality 2x plus 1 is greater than negative 5 true? All they want you to do is solve the inequality. There are some, there's always going to be some odd ways things are worded on tests and on check-ins and EOGs, but this just means solve the inequality. So I'm going to just rewrite this over here. And if I solve it, I solve it just like I do an equation. The only time that we change the symbol is when we multiply or divide by a negative number. So let's subtract 1 from both sides. 2x is greater than, when I subtract 1 over here, I get negative 6. I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. I'm not dividing by a negative number. The only time that you switch the symbol is if you have a negative number under here. Okay, so I'm going to leave it greater than, and x is greater than, negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So I need to look at one that has an open circle. It's not going to be colored in. And I need to look at one that is going to the right. So this is the only one right here that has an open circle and pointing to the right. So that would be our answer there. Okay, and then the next one, you're going to work by yourself. All right, so I think this is one of our last ones. Number 17 says Parv has a $50 gift card. He uses the gift card to buy a pack of games for $9.99. So let's start. Let's maybe highlight a couple things. $50 gift card. He uses the gift card to buy just a pack of games for $9.99. And then he also wants to buy some movies, but we don't know how many movies, and each movie is $3.99. So we know that that $3.99 is going to go with the in. So the first thing we can look for, and they all say the same thing. They all say $3.99 in, so that doesn't help us any. We also know that he has a $50 gift card, so he can't spend more than $50. So what that means is this one right here wouldn't be, we could mark that one out, rule that one out. We could also rule out this last one because those both say he has more, we can spend more than $50. He only has $50. So it's either going to be this first one or this third one. Now, we know that the one-time fee is the $9.99. Okay, so it would be $9.99. And then each movie is $3.99. So that's $3.99 times n because we don't know how many movies he can buy. And then he has to spend less than or equal to that $50. We're not subtracting the $3.99 because he's spending that. And so all of this together is going to equal or be less than 50. So it's going to be this first answer choice here where the two values, the two amounts are added together and they have to be less than or equal to $50. So the last problem here, very similar to the one we just did. And so you'll be solving this one on your own, and then you will be done.